Chernobylite is one of the best games I played recently. It's not that long but has so many interesting ideas and executes some of them really well. This video serves as proof to this, or at least I hope that it does. The game is very strange and takes some inspirations from Stalker or Roadside Picnic. But it's not a Stalker clone, it just has the same setting. This should be clear with the weird opening.
Igor, wake up, you sleepyhead. Look over there. Do you remember the glade just beyond those trees? That's where you proposed to me. You were so nervous and sweet. You're still sweet, my Professor Communic. Anyway, it feels good to return after all these years, doesn't it? What is it, Igor? You're still half asleep. Wake up. Awake.
The year it plays is not very clear, it should be around 2019. We are playing as Igor and are searching for our fiancée Tatiana. We worked in Chernobyl during the disaster in 1986, which means that we should be at least 60 years old. We take control of Igor during a heist. Our two companions, Anton and Olivier, a Canadian, are mercenaries we hired. We gather Chernobylite, a mysterious material which we can use to open wormholes. What I like is that the game takes real science as inspiration. Specifically exotic matter, which is according to my limited knowledge, thanks to Kurzgesagt, how wormholes really should be opened. The operation fails when the Black Stalker arrives, which is a fairly unfortunate name for a villain, when I think about it. We use the portal gun and escape with Olivier, but Anton dies.
Why are you here?
Shortly after this, we reunite with Olivier again.
Hands where I can see them. What's the password?
Don't think with that gun pointed at me.
Igor? Damn it. Nostalgia. It's nostalgia. It was your idea, goddammit.
Before we go into the rest of the story, let's talk about gameplay. We now have this hideout, and very similar to Fallout, you can build things in it. You can also do so later on missions, and alter the area, like having less monsters or the Black Stalker arrives later.
I detected the echo of a recent wormhole. It should lead me right to him. Let's see what you're made of.
When you are on a mission and you take too long, the Black Stalker comes after you. He's a tough fight, but beatable. But that is not why you should avoid him. It's about resources. Because healing and shooting takes resources, and in the early game you want to save up on those. You never get something out of beating the Black Stalker, so it's always a net loss. There are some areas and each one has different topography. You enter them with the help of the binoculars and choose a mission. The area usually has the main objective and some side ones. Sometimes enemies, other times resources, and other times you can fight enemies with different weapons, although I almost always use the revolver. All weapons can be upgraded. You can also use stealth on the mission side. I usually dislike stealth in games, because it's about finding the beaten path from the developer and wait sometimes. That's in essence every stealth game. But in Chernobylite it's not only an option, you can also use traps and move freely. It's a more open approach to stealth, and because it also saves resources, I was using and enjoying it. We also find clues which we will use in simulations. Simulations are part of the story, and that's why I will discuss them in that section. After each mission we distribute food, which never became a real problem. We also see how good our companions did on the mission we sent them to earlier. There are only soldiers and monsters, and both give you resources on a successful hunt. The shooter mechanics are pretty basic and nothing special. I personally wished for more traps and maybe some reusable ones, because I never like to use resources, and when I have enough, I don't need traps any longer.
I'm just fucking teasing you, man, because I'm bored. You used to live in England, didn't you? Eating your full English breakfast, drinking Darjeeling tea, scooting around in your Aston Martin, sipping martinis, mingling with high society.
We can also build our base, get better weapons and armor, forge ammo or modify our guns, outfit our companions, which increases their mission chances.
This is gonna be extremely difficult, maybe even dangerous.
Learning skills is done through companions. It's a more immersive friendly approach, which makes it feel more like real training. We also often find notes and photos of Tatiana, which is often creepy and strange. Why would everyone have those things? It's almost like the whole of Pripyat did worship her. The main enemy is the NAR, a private military that wants to use Chernobylite, and paid the Ukrainian government for this operation.
Anybody there? Hey! Answer the radio for once, you cocksuckers! This is fucking important, come on! Don't leave me standing here with my dick in my hand! Who is this?
Each companion will give us missions, and although I didn't do them in this order, I sorted them for this video, companion after companion.
Roger that, Rhino 1. Proceed as ordered. The area is clear. Do you copy?
Leave it Charlie, Bluebird. We'll get to the target ASAP. Over and out.
Posing as the enemy. You're playing a dangerous game, Olivier.
I know what I'm doing. I've learned their code names and routines. Knowing your enemy is essential.
Clever. We need to get the upper hand over NAR whenever we can.
Agreed. I wasn't trained in cracking codes, but I know how to crack people. And this radio works perfectly with NAR encryption. I discovered something that may be of interest to you, Igor. NAR is sending a team out to locate some old KGB documents. Could be related to what you're looking for.
We find the documents, but they are booby-trapped. We disable the traps and don't rearm them in accordance with Olivier's advice.
Want to hang out for a bit?
Yeah, good idea. Is there something you wanted?
Actually,
Why don't you tell me about yourself? You're from Canada.
Yeah. My grandfather moved there from Ukraine when that was still an option. I grew up in a military family with military traditions. You might say my upbringing was as straight as the barrel of a gun. It was as much a curse as it was a blessing.
No family's perfect, I guess.
Our fathers keep tormenting us long after they've passed. Isn't that so? You know what's worse than being raised by a control freak? Being raised by a control freak who's also a former army colonel and a goddamn millionaire.
Sounds like you had a lot of expectations to meet.
Oh yeah. But whatever I did, it was never good enough. Not even after I made it into JTF-2, the top of the top. An elite unit of the Canadian Army. But I wouldn't give up. I was relentless. I was eventually promoted to my own command, and then disaster struck. We were ambushed near Raqqa in Syria, and everyone was shot to pieces. Except me. Every day. I think if only I could go back and change what happened.
I'm sorry, Olivier. That must have been hard.
It still is. I never went home afterwards. Everyone thinks I'm KIA. I'd rather be a dead hero back in Canada than a living failure.
Well, that's quite a story. I know you'll find a way to deal with your past, Olivier. You're strong enough.
Shortly after this, we intercept a NAR message. That an old friend of ours, Dr. Semenov, is in the area. We find him and he says some interesting things.
So this place, it used to be KGB document storage. There's a lot of stuff left in the basement.
Please, answer me, Professor. Did you sign some sort of pact with NAR?
A pact? How melodramatic. How ominous. I signed a confidentiality agreement. And a contract of work, yes. But I'm not responsible for how they police their facilities. Can't you see what's going on here? This is much too important. Chernobylite needs to be properly studied by real professionals.
I haven't seen Tatiana in 30 years. I seem to have some blank spots in my memory. I can't remember what happened the night of the disaster. I need to find her. I need to find out what happened to us.
Reactor number 4. That was a real disaster. Some of our colleagues paid the ultimate price for this misguided experiment. That's what happens when politicians are placed in charge of scientists. And Tatiana, such a sweet girl, and your friend Boris, you three were inseparable. I called you my three musketeers, remember? Look, my security detail will be back soon to collect me. I don't want them to hurt you or start asking questions.
How can I get in touch?
I will find you. Now, go.
He's researching the local fauna and flora and is in cohorts with the NAR. We let him live and leave. Before he leaves, he promises us help. I also left a bit early because it seems like the most logical thing to do after our discussion, but I should have first left the building and the mission failed, which was hilarious. We get another mission from Olivier. He asks us to intercept a weapon transport and we comply. This mission is very short, we find the weapons and only take what we need, while Mikhail wants us to blow up everything.
Remember the pointers I gave you, Igor. Be a pro. Igor, any ammo you leave behind, they're gonna use to shoot you in the ass. Blow that shit sky high.
Semenov contacts us and gives us some documents with a map, but it's a trap, and we get caught. We get a short conversation with Kozlov, the general of the NAR, and then escape. We could also fight the helicopter, but then we would not get into the base. We need to go into the space or we won't be able to have enough clues for the final heist. But how can we even know if we can escape or even if they won't just kill us? We don't have enough indicators to support either option. And so this is broken down to guesswork. After this we will confront Semenov for his betrayal. He suddenly has this very weird voice which sounds insane.
Used, my boy, disturbed. The Chernobylite is messing with your head, but I can help you.
Which is probably bad direction or writing because no one would suddenly talk like that. He answers some of our questions, some fairly important ones.
What's NAR's interest in Chernobyl?
Their interest is in a potentially trillion-dollar business. I trust I don't need to explain the possibilities of a nearly unlimited energy source. Chernobylite opened a door to something that will change the history of mankind forever. It's like an autonomous vehicle that can take you anywhere in time and space, complete with maps.
This time we need to kill him.
You won't hurt anyone, ever again. This ends now.
I see I was wrong about you. You're an insect just like the rest of them. You will never save Tatiana without my help.
There is again no way to tell if killing him benefits us or not. We have to guess. Let's come to Mikhail.
You have a second, Igor?
Sure.
I was just thinking about my friends Zina, Yuri, Ludmila, and Igor, your namesake. The greatest team of stalkers the world has ever seen.
Mikhail asks us to hack the NAR server, which we do.
Mikhail, I've got the laptop. Tell me what to do.
Great fucking job. Type in www.heartisalonelyhunter.ru and press enter. Download the last file in the column, the one called Sweet Lonely Boy Will Meet Sugar Mom. Cool name, yeah? Execute the file and voila, you got access to their database. Unless you screwed something up. Next step is to get to the comms tower and strike the fatal blow. Hey, Igor. Before you rush off, look for some intel first. You want to find Tatiana, remember?
We decide to blow up everything and not to look into Tatiana. As a distraction he blows up a bomb while he's inside the building, which leads to the next mission. We need to save Mikhail, who blew up some strange gems.
I'm fucking stranded in the building I blew up. You're gonna need a gas mask.
Which makes him and us see visions. It's a bit strange because everyone in the game, including us, already wear gas masks. Next, a friend of Mikhail is in danger and he wants us to help him. Surprisingly, this friend also sees Tatiana in form of visions and made notes that are surprisingly creepy. On his last mission, Mikhail wants us to shoot a helicopter, which we refuse. Mikhail has probably the worst quest chain. It's very simple and reveals almost nothing about the main plot. Olga.
Have you heard of cloud seeding? Because it was used to save Moscow from the Chernobyl fallout at someone else's expense. The goal was to make the rain fall on smaller cities and villages in Belarus and Ukraine, for the cloud could reach Moscow. The little people suffered because of it. Of course, the authorities denied it. They're still denying it even today. Every time I think about it, I wish I had one or two of those fuckers in the sights of my Moss and Nugget.
Before we meet Olga, we get the quest about a trader in the region. We investigate and find the trader and let him go. He just traded with some of the NAR soldiers and now they want him dead. After this we get messaged by Olga, who wants our help. She lives in a local village that defends itself against the NAR, and you know the saying, the enemy of my enemy and so on. We agree to help and meet her.
Professor Kimanuk, I presume? It's an honor to finally meet you in person. We've got a lot of work to do, you and I.
I'm here. What did you want to talk about?
A few days ago, someone took our supplies. My husband, Kostia, went after the thieves.
Now her husband is missing and the NAR now proclaims they obtained a prisoner, which can't be a coincidence. We agree to free him. He later reveals that he wants to poison the leader of the village, not to kill him, but to take the reign for a while to make change happen.
Alright, look. I've been trying to help these people for years. Show them how to run this place better, organize themselves, and whatnot.
Go on.
But for some reason, they don't trust me. They only listen to Olga and that old coot Matvey. Don't get me wrong, I love Olga. I love all of them. They're my family, and I live to protect them, even when it's against their wishes.
Maybe they don't trust you because you're a lying sack of shit. What do you want with the supplies?
Matvey needs to learn his place. He's reckless, makes decisions that could get us all killed. His reign of terror has to be stopped. I'm going to spike his food. Just give him a little something to make him a bit more, docile. Then I can make some changes around here, and Olga will finally see reason. She's under Matvey's influence. It has to stop.
We decline his offer and invite Olga to join us. If you give him the food, the final heist will result in the death of one of your companions. There is no way to tell how this turns out, so it's guesswork. Olga wants us to investigate an old bunker, where we find a kid being held prisoner. He wants to meet his uncle.
Hey, little guy. What are you doing here? This is no place for children.
No kidding, old-timer. Let me out of here before the guards come back.
What's your name, kid?
I'm Gleb. I didn't do anything wrong. Let me out of here, or my uncle will kick the crap out of you.
We can either free him and send him to the village, or leave him in prison. We free him. This isn't a bad choice. The prison is presented as being safe for the kid, safer than the village or the zone. This decision will have a huge impact on the big heist. You cannot know this, and the ripples of the wave are not foreseeable. This is pure guessing. On the next mission, Olga wants us to find out what happened to her people. Her mother and many of the other villagers were abducted and experimented on, and we have to investigate. We can hear a conversation between a scientist and a black stalker, which isn't really important. The following discussion, or to be more precise, the interrogation of the two scientists, is really interesting.
Vanya? Finally! Who the hell are you? What did you do with Vanya? Please don't hurt us. We're scientists.
Yeah, so was Dr. Mengele.
We've moved from administering nano-solutions to directly editing human genomes to enhance them with Chernobylite. We've developed our own Chernobylite CRISPR.
Your patients or subjects, whatever you call them. Especially the locals. What happened to them?
Which ones? There were many patients here. Some of them didn't make it past the final phase. The others, we don't know. Enhanced by Chernobylite, the pineal gland can do incredible things. Release all kinds of energy, and even influence physical objects, as in telekinesis.
You're torturing people so they can bend spoons with their mind? God, what kind of quacks are you?
This is all following the scientific method, believe me.
Chernobylite is like a virus, in a way. It's not exactly inorganic matter, but neither is it a living organism. It's something in between. And it produces a type of brainwave, even though it clearly has no structured organic tissue. What if there was an organism or a virus, an entity powerful enough to create its own singularities?
No biological organism could encapsulate that kind of energy, or survive if it did. A living entity would be torn to shreds.
But Chernobylite is not a normal biological organism, is it? We have no idea what it is. Just try and consider the possibility that the wormholes you're walking into are not something created outside of Chernobylite. They are Chernobylite. You're traveling through the veins and corridors of its multidimensional body.
But what does that have to do with this communion thing?
Isn't it obvious? We're trying to communicate with Chernobylite, or somehow influence it through the mental energy of our subjects. But getting inside this thing's mind, or whatever it is, must be a truly disturbing experience.
You're fucking insane, both of you.
Igor, I need to tell you something.
For her last mission, Olga wants us to find out how the village is safe from the monsters.
I don't know exactly how it works, but Matvey has a way. He has this strange powder. It calls it dust.
We investigate and it turns out the dust is made from human bones. And we have an interesting conversation with the Black Stalker, which I will play later. Now to Tarakan. We get a message from an old crazy man named Tarakan.
I know you're there, little mouse. Pick up.
Who is this?
A better question is, who are you?
What?
I kid, Mousy, I kid. I know where you are, and I know who you are looking for, yes? Let this be enough for now. Listen, I have something to show you, something very important. Oh, but we must meet in person.
He wants to meet us. Tarakan leaves a note and a doll owned by Tatiana. He hired Sachko to test us. You can either enhance your scan or destroy the Duga radar. Without hesitation, I enhanced my scan. Tarakan doesn't like this, but we get his next mission anyway.
You cannot hide from me. The Rat King is almost upon us. And despite your history with Duga radar, you decided to help him. I am disappointed. Let us meet in person, Mousy.
We meet him and he wants to test us again. We will burn his documents or not. We decide to burn them, then he vanishes. After a while we get contacted by Tarakan again. He seems to be in trouble. We kill the NAR soldiers and he joins us. At last, but not at least, Sachko. Sachko now wants to join us, but like Tarakan, he wants to test us.
Impressive. Now for the real test.
What do you mean? Test?
You think I trust you now? Why? Because you showed up? You need to show me I'm making the right decision. I want to see with my own eyes that when the time comes, you will not hesitate.
You want me to perform some parkour stunt for you? That's your idea of a test?
Whatever. Call it what you want. I call it a bit of insurance. Now go. See? Never doubted you, Chief. Well done.
What was that all about?
Trust, Ego. It was about trust.
He also wants us to steal some uniforms while searching for his brother.
Sachko, you know the difference between dynamite and nitroglycerin? I need you to be more stable, like dynamite, and less like nitroglycerin, which will just blow a person to hell for no reason.
You want to make an omelet? You gotta crack a few skulls, am I right?
If you know so much about eggs, how about helping out with the cooking?
Nah, that's your department.
We find out that they killed his brother, but we refuse to massacre random soldiers.
It seems they caught someone who enlisted under false name. They found out his real identity, Ruslan, and that he was wanted for double homicide in Moscow. My God, Sachko, I'm sorry. I think they killed him in order to deny any involvement.
So, he's dead. I don't get to ask my questions then.
What the hell is so important about these questions? This is your brother.
Yeah, seen this double homicide. It was our parents. I think Ruslan might have been involved in their deaths.
What are you saying? You think Ruslan killed your parents?
I have no idea what happened. I wanted to find out from him directly. Now I never will.
Zachko's parents got killed and he wants to know if Ruslan, his brother, killed them. He will never find out and has to live with it, which is not bad. It's non-conclusive, but so is life sometimes. On his last mission, Zachko sends us to Terrakan's old hideout. We grab another uniform and we also get a decision to destroy Terrakan's data or to use them. We decide to download them. We move on to the last missions and the heist. But before that, I want to talk about guesswork, decisions and simulations. I repeated guesswork pretty often, and that's no mistake. Video games, like most media, are an adaptation and abstraction of reality at the same time. To any game there is a certain amount of realism, which we need to be able to understand a game. Many story in video games want to give us choices, and it's fairly important to make things appear real in video games, so the player can immerse him or herself in the game. The problem arises from the hard truth of production. If I would meet you and gave you a choice, go through the green door or go through the right door, one will kill you. You won't just pick an option, you would ask questions. Who are you? Which is the right door? How does that even work? Maybe you would call the police or you just go away. You could also open each door and look first. This amount of realistic freedom is not possible in video games. So we players have this unwritten pact with developers. They will present us choices and in the best case, give us enough clues or tell us outright what each choice will entail. They have to do this because either having no choice or picking a wrong choice because you can't ask simple questions will result in a player's frustration. So whenever we make a choice in a game where we cannot know the answer and suddenly get a bad end or a worse outcome, we feel cheated. Chernobylite geniusly reverses this. It gloriously embraces the guesswork. After day 10, this happens.
What is this? It can't be real. No! No! No!
Slowing down, speeding up.
Yeah, that kills us. The game shows us that first, death won't be the end, and that we can change decisions. You can return to this dimension and redo decisions, and even replay missions. When Olivier demanded a password from us at the start, we could not answer because neither player nor the character did know the answer. But now...
Go ahead, Igor. Change the past.
Hands where I can see them. What's the password?
Nostalgia. We don't have time for games, Olivier. Can't you tell it's me?
You picked the password. Let's just stick to the rules, shall we? Come on in.
This is absolutely important, because this is not a simple game mechanic, like the pause menu or the building screen that is just there for the player-game interconnectivity. It's a real canon story element. You can use knowledge from the future to change past events. I have two significant problems with this. First, the game never does this again. In this way at least. Instead you fail the heist, or a companion dies, or you miss something, and you change what you did, so everything turns out fine. Instead of using future knowledge for new options, you fix decisions you made before. This is a crucial difference. Best example would be the little kid we find during Olga's questline. He is Kozlov's nephew. Instead of choosing either save or leave him, how about bring him to Kozlov directly, or use him as a bargain chip? This is wasted potential. If you excuse the metaphor, I feel like visiting a construction site and see this beautiful house, built well and solid, on the foundation fitting for a giant palace. Yes, the house is already good, but there is so much more potential. My second problem is that this interaction could have been made better. After returning to reality, we start at the same day. So we should die again, right? But for no reason this black hole does not happen again. Olivier's password episode wasn't related to this. So how about this? During our escape we find an old Soviet nuclear bomb. We don't know the password and cannot disarm it. The chance of it exploding is slim, so we have to leave. Later we find the password, but it's too late. And now on day 10 a helicopter falls right onto the bomb site and we get a line like, "Oh no, that's where the bomb is." And when we return, we can now use our new knowledge to change this. This would be a related change, not something insignificant. I think the idea of the game was doing the heist, fail and change things in the past so it will work out. During the heist we will get a few options, and if we didn't do the correct thing, some of them are not available for us. This also has two big problems. First, it's pretty time consuming, and secondly, redoing things is 10 times more worse than doing it the first time. So if you constantly go back and redo the heist, it's tedious as hell. But I did redo some stuff, the Duga Raider for example, and some things from Olivier, because on the final heist you need Olivier to be on good terms with you. In the simulations we learn more about what happens. We can also use this against the Black Stalker, but let's do this in order. Also the simulation stutters a bit. That's on the footage, not on the gameplay. The gameplay was perfectly fine. In the first simulation we find out that our friend Boris had a long time crush on our fiancée Tatiana. He constantly tries to woo her into leaving us, which is pretty shitty.
Tanya, and wait, is that Boris?
Beautiful, isn't it? Igor gave it to me for my birthday. He's such a cute dork. It's from Leningrad. He's so sweet.
A tiny dancer? That's all he sees you as, huh? He doesn't really understand you like I do. If you'd only give us a chance, Tanya.
Boris, please don't make me go through this again. Don't destroy our friendship.
I think we're all set. That was a great idea with the music box, Comrade Major.
Boris was talking to the KGB? I should have seen it. He was always so overly ambitious.
What do you want?
Tatiana Amlieva, please, come with us quietly.
It's better if you don't make a scene, for your own sake.
What are you doing? Get away from me! Don't touch me! Leave me alone!
God, please. I can't take it anymore.
Lord, have mercy.
In the second simulation it's revealed that Tatiana was experimented on and does react exceptionally good with the Chernobylite. We find out that Tatiana gave birth. It's not exactly clear at this point if it's from us or from the rape. The child also has the same strong connection to the Chernobylite and was taken away from her. The third simulation reveals the origins of the Black Stalker.
And this misunderstanding also cost you your good looks.
I don't want to listen to this anymore. No more distractions, you hear me?
Oh yes, of course. I'm very happy to hear that it's all in the past now.
So my dear friend Boris worked with Semenov even after the Chernobyl disaster. I wonder what happened to his face.
To be honest, I just thought that your hallucinations meant you were losing your mind. Prolonged exposure to Chernobylite often causes psychosis and hysteria after all. Why, I've seen the test subjects babbling about Cthulhu or wanting to save the world from rats. You achieved something that no one has ever achieved before. Well, except her, but she has a different purpose. You will be the first of your kind. You will help me bring about a new era of human evolution. You will help me reach the stars. It's time to drop your old mask and don a new one. Time to become what you were always meant to be. The Black Stalker.
Let's move over quick to the discussion with the Black Stalker.
I told you to return to the UK, Igor, but I see you didn't listen. Well, it's understandable in a way. You're constantly interfering in everyone's business. You're the wild card of the zone. There's no telling if you'll end up on the side of the heroes or the rats.
You're talking gibberish.
You think I don't know you've been talking to Semenov? Perhaps even Kozlov? Who else, I wonder? But your little gang of misfits and rejects has no idea you're playing both sides.
How do you...
You really are naive, aren't you, Igor? Like a lost little boy. That big brain of yours still can't comprehend what's really going on. Perhaps you're not so special after all.
rat? Why did he call you a rat, Mousy?
They're using you, and you can't even see it. Did you ever think to stop running everyone's errands for 5 minutes and ask yourself why you're here? Why you're really here?
You're insane. Chernobylite is messing with your mind. Listen, I never sold anyone out. Someone sent me a picture of Tatiana, and I saw her in my dreams. She called out for me to find her.
You're a goddamn liar. She would never. No, you don't belong here.
It's the truth, and I can tell you believe it.
You're delusional. Semenov used a photograph to lure you here, to get you to mess with my plans. He made you his puppet, whether you realize it or not.
You underestimate me, old friend. Yes, I know it's you, Boris. What happened to you? We had our differences back in the day, but we were also good friends, the three of us. Tatiana has always been the most important person in my life. That's true. But that doesn't mean I don't care about anyone else. About my friends.
Friends? Sure, Boris and Igor, bosom comrades to the end. Cross my heart and all that. It's really bizarre to see you claiming something that doesn't belong to you. If only you knew.
I honestly have no idea what you're talking about, but I don't care. I will find Tatiana. If I have to go through you to do so, I will.
You're not lacking in courage, Igor. But courage without knowledge is indistinguishable from stupidity. Do you understand what you're up against? I know you talk to those half-wits in my lab. Their indiscretion cost them their lives, by the way.
You killed them for telling me that crazy theory of yours? That Chernobylite is an organism so powerful it can produce singularities and wormholes inside its own multi-dimensional body?
Believe what you want. But how do you hope to challenge such power if you can't even defeat me? You're so far out of your depth, you don't even realize. I have my own plans, and they don't involve you. Not yet, anyway.
The last simulation tells us more about Chernobylite. It's like the scientists previously said, sentient, but it's even intelligent, and uses Tatiana as a sort of conductor.
I quite like that theory. They are here to nourish the main host and protect it from intruders and diseases.
Us?
Most of us, yes.
Shadows emerged through the unstable gate, so you don't think it was retaliation or an invasion?
No. I would rather call it the reaction of an organism that was attacked by something foreign.
By foreign, you mean our test subjects? So shadows are some sort of antibodies?
Exciting, isn't it? And Amelieva is like the correct protein, the conduit. She can communicate with the beast, but the beast can also speak through her.
I've seen what happened to subjects who were exposed to Chernobylite. Getting some FaceTime with this must be unsettling.
And with this we have all the information we need. Time to kidnap
It's great to
Kozlov.
see time to end his miserable life.
We talk to each of our companions. Some want to kill Kozlov outright, while others want to kidnap him.
What's all the commotion?
Don't even think about reaching for that sidearm, General Kozlov. I'm not interested in talking to you, but I need to find Tatiana, and you're in my way.
Is that so? Those few words you just said tell me you have no idea what's going on here.
I'm sorry, General. I'm not that kind of person. But you leave me no choice.
Wait. You're making a huge mistake. I can tell you a great many things. Useful information.
Okay. I'll bite. But you better have answers.
Just a man trying to do his job. I have a nephew that I very much want to see. So, go ahead and ask your questions. When you're satisfied, I'm sure we can come to some kind of arrangement.
You're the head of security. Am I to believe you're not privy to everything that goes on at the power plant?
Professor Kameniuk, listen. I am here to earn a little extra money
so I can retire someplace nice and send my nephew to an Ivy League university. I have zero interest in anything that doesn't directly concern my men and my job.
Are you ready to cooperate now? If you lie to me, I will return, and it won't go well for you.
The call is, we quell the storm. The response, and ride the thunder.
Thank you.
We let him go for the simple reason we need him later. He isn't necessarily evil. Later we get contacted by him. He says that he wants to meet us.
I can't wait.
There's a helipad with an abandoned helicopter next to the railroad. Go there, find the button that powers it up, and press it.
He directs us to a secret room with footage and recordings of all our activities. We got spied on by Olivier.
No, I'm not spying on you. That is the hidey hole of a rogue operative. To be honest, I only recently discovered it. I'm not sure who he's working for, but I do know who he is.
Yes, General?
A military man with connections to a foreign agency. Canadian, perhaps?
We tell Kozlov that we sent his nephew to the village. And then we leave. Olivier confronts us, but we need to trust Olivier, despite all of this, for the best ending. How should you know that trusting Olivier despite all the evidence is the best choice? Again, guesswork. But now, the final heist. We have a short summary and then we give roles to each of our companions. Their input is helpful and you can determine who should get which role. Each companion who is subpar will say something accordingly.
NAR must have upgraded its digital defense perimeter and surveillance system by now. A skillful hacker should be able to at least temporarily disable them.
I'm your man, Mousy. The great Ratcatcher has blessed me with a knack for that kind of thing. Electronics, surveillance, computers. There's no one better than me.
Wouldn't call myself a black hat, but I know enough. As long as we don't get into serious stuff, I should do fine.
Like I said previously, we have to make many decisions, and many of them are guesswork. Sometimes your companions give hints about the success chances, but it's not always clear.
I already found the right database. I'll upload your biometric data, and you can walk right through.
I can't get a line of sight on all of them. Maybe I should target those fuel tanks on the far side of the gates. That'll keep them distracted long enough for you to slip past. But if we do that, I'll have to fall back from this position.
But I also think that's the idea, using the story element of time travel.
All right, Olga. Tarakan, I like your thinking. Let's try the prisoner escort charade. Just act bored. Tarakan, I like your thinking.
Attention! Pneumonia! Achtung! The reactor's about to explode! Run for your lives, everyone!
What kind of nonsense is this? The reactor cannot
Fuck it, Anatoly. A break is a break.
Your plan sounds reasonable, Mikhail. Do it. We're taking this gate down. These guys are the last thing standing between me and Tatiana. I can't back down now. I'll fight my way in if I have to.
I've got an idea, Igor. I know a way to turn this around. There's still some charges left. I can sneak past the soldiers and detonate the main gasoline tank. Trust me, I'm not in that much of a hurry to die, but I don't see any other choice.
Oh no, this sucks big time balls. I wish we had someone inside who could get those assholes to look the other way.
Attention all units.
What the?
This is General Kozlov speaking. All troops stand down and evacuate the building immediately. That is a direct order.
Kozlov? He was silent for so long. I thought he was dead. Don't keep the General waiting. Outside, now.
Hi, Igor. Gleb says hello. And also goodbye.
Kozlov?
My nephew told me what you did for him. He asked me to return the favor. I've always had a soft spot for that boy, so... this is your lucky day. Me and Gleb are leaving this place for good. We're going to disappear where NAR can't ever find us. I would advise you to do the same, but I know you won't listen. Good luck, Igor. May you find whatever it is you're looking for.
Everyone, wait here and watch the perimeter. I have to do this alone.
After all of this, we finally meet Tatiana.
Tatiana! Finally!
Well, well, Professor. I knew she was real.
Pretty hot for...
Igor, my love. My child.
It's been so very long. But it's finally you. It has to be you.
You know it in your heart, my love. I've been calling out to you for all these years, and you answered.
But how?
You shouldn't be here. It's a mistake. You'll only bring great misery on us all. My poor little boy. All of us together, finally. Release me, my love. Free me.
What did you call me? I don't understand. What can I do?
We are not Igor Senior, but Igor Junior, the child. Tatiana also was strangely contradictive during the game. She often tells us not to come, to go away, but then she saves us and also leads us to her. She also has this during our conversation.
Hi, Igor. Happy to see me.
Olivier? What are you doing?
Do you really need to ask? Did you think I was an idiot right from the beginning?
Put the gun down. Whatever it is, we can work it out.
You are such an asshole. I've been helping you all this time. I made sacrifices. I lost my best friend just to help you find this dear old lady of yours.
Olivier, please.
Not once, not fucking once did you offer to help me. It was always about you. Semenov was right after all, every word.
But Semenov? Why would you work for that lunatic? What could he possibly offer?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a chance to change what cannot be changed? To go back in time and save my squad? I should have seen it sooner. Besides, you're not the only one experiencing strange fucking things, you know. I keep having these dreams where I die. I wake up and I live again. I see our friends being killed because of your screw-ups. Then it's a new day and everything's normal again.
Then Olivier comes from behind, and if our relation is not good, he kills us. He wants us to save the people he lost in the military, using time travel shenanigans. Olivier sees for some reason the alternative timelines. This is also why I said time travel is canon. Maybe even more than you think.
So I promise you, once we see this through, I'll do everything in my power to help...
Say it. To save my team.
To save your team.
Okay. That's good enough for me. I'm glad we understand each other.
Then the Black Stalker has a conversation with us.
You took your time, Igor.
Cut the crap. It's time you gave me some answers.
Yes, we'll get to that. But since this is our last meeting, I want to ask you a question first.
Fine. Just make it quick.
What do you really hope to achieve, Igor?
Isn't that obvious? I want to say...
You may find this surprising, but our goals are actually aligned.
How's that?
We were both going after the same thing, but this whole time we've been chasing someone else's agenda without knowing it. Chernobylite's agenda.
Come on, man. I've come too far to be fed a line of bullshit.
Let's start from the beginning. Do you know who I am?
I sure do, Boris. You were my closest friend until you decided to betray me. To take Tatiana from me.
Boris is dead. I killed him on that fateful night, April 26, 1986, and took his identity. Good riddance. He was a treacherous piece of shit.
You took his? Why?
The more important question, the question you somehow failed to ask yourself all this time is, who are you? Because you're not Professor Igor Kiminyuk. You never were. I am Igor Kiminyuk. I only changed my name to protect you and your mother.
Protect me? How? By trying to kill me at every turn?
If I wanted to kill you, I would have done it the first time we met at the power plant.
Will you quit talking in fucking riddles?
The truth is hard to swallow, I know. It was hard for me too. You are me. Tatiana isn't your fiancée. She's mine. Everything you know about her, everything you remember, none of it is yours. You're living someone else's life. My life. You are my clone, sort of. You got my body, my brain, my skills, and most importantly, my memories from before the Chernobyl disaster.
What are you saying? How is that even possible?
Tatiana was sterile. That was our personal tragedy. But when Semenov imprisoned her after the Duga fiasco, she fell pregnant. At first, I thought Boris was the father, and I was angry with her. But that was another of Semenov's lies. He needed me to stay on the project and study Chernobylite, so he injected Tanya with the nano solution. What happened next was, I don't know what to call it, an immaculate conception. She gave birth to a boy, you. You grew much more quickly than other kids, but your mind didn't seem to follow. It was different somehow. The Chernobylite no doubt affected you in unpredictable ways. I never really considered you my son. It scared the shit out of me.
Okay, that was a lot. I usually dislike when the plot could have been resolved if just the characters talk to each other. This is not the case for Chernobylite. Igor Sr. was probably conflicted. He didn't want to kill Tatiana's child because she begged him not to do so, but also didn't want us to achieve our goals.
If I wanted to kill you, I would have done it the first time we met at the power plant. This is not going to end.
The problem is that he does kill us on the field, when we take too long. It does not make sense outside of keeping gameplay and the narrative apart from each other. Then comes the boss fight, which is easier than beating the Black Stalker in Chernobyl. He's suddenly indestructible for no fucking reason. We get saved by Olivier, who comes from a different dimension and brings us the portal gun. This whole section was interesting and badly executed. Why is Olivier coming just in time? Why didn't he appear sooner or maybe multiple times from other worlds? This would have made much more sense if we told him before to do that. Maybe send him to another dimension to grab another portal gun. It is still playing by the rules of the game, with multiple dimensions and timelines. It's just poorly done because it happens only once for no reason. While if this was possible, it should have happened more often. We now come to the end and have three options. Destroy the portal, go into the portal and unite with the Chernobyl, or reject it. Let's see where this goes. We first go through the portal.
A single shot of adrenaline would have saved my ass. Why didn't you give it to me, you cheap fuck?
My life was in your hands, and you let me die.
This was hinted before by Olivier, but now it's slapping into your face. The time travel is more than just canon. Let's call it over canon. Every timeline is canon. Each failure, each reload, each success, and each decision. There's no concept of real timeline, because all are real. The Chernobylite also speaks with us.
This isn't possible. These things can't all have happened. I fixed them. At least some of them.
You are wrong. Did you think meddling with space-time wouldn't have consequences? All of this, every bit of it, happened.
But how? I was going back through the wormholes. I was fixing everything.
There is no time travel the way your friend Olivier understands it. You can never change what's already occurred, because every change creates its own space-time continuum.
And time only moves in one direction. Entropy.
Every time you make or unmake a decision, you twist an entire dimension. It's because you are a part of me, made from the same multi-dimensional stuff.
I really love this. It makes sense and gives a new look on the rest of the game. We then can connect with the Chernobylite or kill ourselves, which I did first.
I see you have it all figured out, my love. But it's not going to happen. I refuse to take part. If mankind wants to destroy itself, let it. For all I know, extinction is a better fate than becoming part of whatever you are.
You are defiant, like her. But as I said, we can do this forever. For eternity. I can have you wake back up at your base again and again. In the end, you will always return to me. It is a circle.
So watch closely, my love. This is my final experiment. It's time to break the circle and destroy the parasite by denying it a host.
No! 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 No!
At first I thought this might be a plot hole. Why are we not revived again and thrown into a different timeline by the Chernobylite? This is what happens when we die normally. There's a big difference. The Chernobylite is this whole dimension and we never died within it. Maybe it can only take us from one dimension to another, but not from inside here. Like you can put an ant from one farm to another, but not if it's in your stomach. Well, at least not without a giant mess. We then get ending slides.
Now they're working together for the good of the Samoshels, tracking down the few remaining monsters still roaming the area. Olivier never had the chance to change his own history and prevent the ambush that wiped out his team. Igor's example convinced him to abandon his plan and accept his flawed past.
You get the same ending slides with only very slight alterations when we choose the two different options. This happens when you agree.
I see. Maybe it's time humanity gets another chance at being its best self.
When he disappeared, a wave of monsters poured into our world through the interdimensional gate, turning Pripyat into a permanent war zone.
And this when you destroy the portal.
It's time to end this once and for all. If anyone can hear me, run as far from here as you can. Everyone, run like hell. Thank you for showing me the way. I won't waste this, I promise. Goodbye. You can rest now.
I really liked Chernobylite. It was a big surprise because I didn't expect such an interesting story. Yes, there are technical difficulties, but the concept is well done. If anything, there is not enough. There should be more options for your base, more enemies, more options on the field, but the game is already good and I can only recommend it. I criticized what I wanted when it came up, so I don't have much to say anymore. I hope you enjoyed this video. Farewell.